everybody, Tabitha Michelle Allen here from Alchemic Healing. I am very happy to do this video with you today on a really awesome, super quick tip that will help you go into meditation and trance state like that. I already have a video up on my channel, which you might have seen, that helps you get into trance state within a minute's time, and that trick has been very popular. However, this one is even quicker, which I'm so excited about. So that one was a minute. This one will get you into a good trance state within 30 seconds, if not sooner. Of course, it might not work for everybody because everybody's physiology, everybody's mind, everybody's spiritual essence is different. But for most of you, this should work. This should be easy. Now, I do recommend knowing what you will do with the trance state beforehand, because this is only a tip that will get you quickly into trance. If you don't have prepared something to focus on, something to keep you within trance, then you will lose it fairly quickly. So once you do this trick, know whether you're going to focus on breath, which if you have kind of an ADD sort of mind, focusing on breath might not be the best for you, in which case have a mantra, have music prepared, that sort of thing. So have that in your mind before you practice this tip that I'm about to tell you. The other thing to know is that this tip is not just amazing because it's so quick, but it's also amazing because there's 3 purposes to this tip. Aside from the first purpose, which is getting into trance super quickly, there's also 2 other effects from this tip that are very amazing and healing. And I'll give you the tip first for trance, but then afterwards I'll tell you the other 2 things that you can use this for that are also really awesome. Okay, so what we're gonna do to begin this tip and to get into the trance state super quickly is you're just going to sit somewhere, and you're going to sit with your head straight, essentially. So wherever you sit, just get your shoulders upright and your head straight. And you don't have to do this every time, but for the first time, you want to pick a side that you're going to do this to, either the left or the right. And then first you're going to turn your head to that side. So I'm going to go to my left side. And you're going to turn your head as far as it will go in that direction. And you don't have to do this every time. This is just kind of how we're learning it for our first time. So first, look as far as you can in that direction as you turn your head. And then that's going to be where our eye line goes. So this is how we're actually going to perform it. So as you turned your head, that's where our eye line goes. And this is going to be what we do every time now when we want to have ourselves get into trance. So this is all it is. And it sounds too easy to be true, but it works. So you're just going to sit, relax, and then take your eye line, how my finger is going, all the way back as far as you can. And if you want to angle it slightly up, so see how my finger is just a little bit angled up, that's even better if you can do that. So just look and try to keep your head straight. If you can see, it's a little impossible. Your head will turn a little bit, but just try to keep your head straight and look back as far as you possibly can. And you're just going to keep looking at that spot to the edge of frame, essentially. And all you do is continue looking there. And this is something that works on your vagus nerve. And so when you are doing that, where you're just sitting still and holding that gaze at the edge of your focus, at the edge of how far your sight can go at that angle, it should be a matter of about 20 to 30 seconds until you hit this point where you will feel like one of a few things. Either you'll feel like you actually want to physically yawn, you want to physically sigh, or you'll just feel an internal feeling where, and this is how it works for me, I just feel all of a sudden this kind of like feeling take over. So where I'm doing it and I'm kind of looking to the side, and then in about 20 to 30 seconds, I'll feel like a and I'll just like all that tension kind of flows out of my body. And if you don't maximize on that moment, you won't go into trance state. You have to take that moment, and as soon as it hits you, just let yourself go with it. Let your eyes close, let your head drop, and then you will enter trance state. Depending on how suggestible you are, how hypnotizable you are, how experienced with trance you are, all of those factors will depend on how deeply you enter trance. But even if you enter into a nice baby trance, that still has amazing effects. It's still really good for your health and your mental health. So just let that moment, let that take you, and go with it. And then go into focusing on your breath, or go into the mantra, or listening to the music you had prepared. If some thoughts come in, that's okay. Just let them pass and then refocus. So this does eventually, or not eventually, it will wear off a little bit when you start practicing it, but that's okay. You just roll with it. So the next time it might take 40 seconds after you've been doing it a few times and it's working for you. Then you might notice at some point it's taking 40 seconds or even a minute to get that going. So just let it take that long, and just maybe do some deep breathing until you get to that point. Or switch to the other side and vacillate between the two each time you try it. I also will do above. So one day I'll do to the left, the next day I'll do to the right, and then the next day I'll actually just like go to the top of my gaze here. And if you want to get really woo with it, what I will do is also picture a beam of light extending from my head as I just stay still and extend my gaze until I get that moment. Why it works, and now I'll give you the second thing that is amazing. So remember that this tip, aside from the fact that it gets you into a lovely trance state within 30-second time frame, it has 3 purposes. So the first one was trance. The second thing that is amazing about it, and how I actually learned it first, is that it is useful in healing the vagus nerve. So if you have any damage to the vagus nerve, if you've had PTSD, like serious trauma, that affects the area. If you've actually had physical trauma to the neck and that area, or if you have fight or flight issues, then doing this exercise, whether or not you then continue with the meditation, but doing this exercise regularly can help actually fix some damage to your vagus nerve and help reset that, which is really important. If you then add on the meditation and the trance, that also is very healing for the vagus nerve. And that's probably why this exercise that I learned for healing that then also can be useful for getting into trance state, because meditation and trance is very healing for our vagus nerve and our system in general. The third tip for, or the third wonderful thing about this tip that makes it just so like awesome and amazing, it's like the coconut oil of get into quick trance tips, is that, because it's that might be weird for understand, but coconut oil is multi-purpose, so that's why I was comparing it to that. But the third use for this tip is if you have a bad neck, or if you have a neck where you don't get a lot of range of motion, or it's like sore, or just a little like feeling a little stuck, then this also is helpful. Because if you do what I showed you first, which was, remember I said you can turn your head before you start it. If you notice, you may or may not, I don't have much range of motion because I do have some joint and neck issues. So when you first try this, before you actually do the meditation and you sit down, turn your head to whichever side you want. First turn your head, then come back, then do the exercise. And then when you do it again, you should notice that you get more range of motion. It doesn't matter which side you do it on. And so you can practice this every day and then continue doing neck stretches, because you'll get more range of motion, which means your physical therapy should have an increased value. So that is the third benefit, is if you have any neck issues, that this this little exercise through the eye motion has a physical benefit as well. So you can get into trance quickly with it. You can heal your vagus nerve. And if you have any physical issues in the neck area, you can help resolve that as well. I mean, it's amazing. So that's why I was so excited to share this with you guys. Let me know if you try this for trance state and how that works, or if you try it for any of the other things and how those worked for you and how those felt. If you have any other questions about trance, if you want to see any specific videos on meditation, on anything spiritual, healing, hypnosis, woo, just leave any questions down below. If you want to see more videos from me, please like, subscribe, and share. And I will see you all later. Thanks for watching. Bye.